this is going to be a tutorial on how to set up a newsletter with ActiveCampaign. And so I have like a sample newsletter that we're going to do today based on this client task. And so basically the first thing that you need to know with ActiveCampaign is that it has a special login link. And so sometimes you might have trouble logging in from like just activecampaign.com. You might need the person's account URL. I've had trouble with this before. So just keep that in mind when you're logging in. So, right, I have the newsletter copy right in front of me. I'm going to open up a new tab that is for ActiveCampaign. I actually have her link already saved in here. So usually it's just like their username or whatever, .activehosted.com. And then, so this is what the ActiveCampaign dashboard looks like. And so basically you can either go, there's like, you can create a new campaign here, create a new one here, or you can create a new one here. It's kind of like lets you do it everywhere. It's a little silly. But basically a campaign is just a fancy word for a newsletter. Some email service providers like use that word differently. There's kind of a couple terms that get used interchangeably. But typically, if you're talking about like a campaign, a newsletter, an email, a autoresponder, it's just like one email. So that's, you would do this as a campaign. Sometimes actually the autoresponder is typically an automation, and that would be like an email sequence, an automation, a series. They all have a couple of different names, but basically today we're going to be doing the newsletter, and that's called a campaign in ActiveCampaign. So we're going to go to create new, this button here in the campaign section. And then here you just name it like whatever you want for like for the back end. So this is the summit email number 1. So I'm just going to name it SCS number 1 registration open. And then click the green next button. And then typically you would just send this to your list of all contacts. She has hers set up incorrectly. So this isn't really like, typically with ActiveCampaign there's only one list. She's got like 15. This is wrong. You would just have one list. If you wanted to send it just to a specific group of people within your list, you would create a segment. That's kind of a different situation. Typically when you're sending out a newsletter, like 95% of the time you're going to be sending it out to everybody. So that's why we just selected the all contacts button. This is what she called it. It won't always be all contacts. It might say everyone. It might say newsletter list. You just want to look for something that looks like it has a big number. It's all of the contacts. Then we're going to click again the green next button. So right here, there's all these templates that come with ActiveCampaign. We don't want to use any of these usually. Typically, you would go over here to the past campaigns button and copy a template from a previous newsletter. So I'm basically going to, here's one that I did for the last summit she was in. So I'm just going to click the use this design button for this previous email. And then this is where you would put in the email subject line that you actually want. Like this is what people will see when they pop open their inbox. So there should be a subject line here. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to choose one of these subject lines. Typically there would just be one. They like, this person gave me 4. I'm just going to pick one that I like. And then just paste it in here to the email subject line. Click the green continue button. All right, and then this is how, like, your editor where you create the newsletter. It's it's kind of like a page builder. So if you've worked with Squarespace, Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, any of those, Visual Composer, anything like that, you'll probably feel like this is pretty familiar. It's a drag and drop style page builder, but it's just instead of building a page, you're building a newsletter. So the text boxes and the images, like you have to do those, and the buttons, you have to do those separately. So just keep that in mind as you're building your newsletter. Like each of these blocks is separate. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna keep her header here. Typically you would have a header at the top of your newsletter, not always, but a lot of people like to have their logo or whatever. But if you're copying a previous newsletter, that part's probably already there. So we're just gonna leave that there. And then I'm just gonna highlight all this copy. I'm gonna check and just see, okay, she likes the font Arial. So we're just gonna make sure that like when we paste it, we're gonna paste it as Arial. Sometimes it doesn't work. All right, so I'm going to copy this text from this newsletter. There we go. Copy it. And then I'm just going to paste it in there. Yep, it's still Arial. 15 is a little big. We get 14. All right, this is a little high up here. I usually like to push it down one line. And then I'm just gonna format this. So like this looks a little messy right here. I'm gonna highlight these two things. If you click this down button for more options, you can have the option to put that as a bullet point. Oops. Oh, why is that doing? Okay, get rid of the dashes. Select this and just make sure it's the right size. And then I'm just gonna keep reading through and make sure that this is all formatted well. All right, he wants us to put the link there. So it's gonna look a little dumb if I just straight up paste the affiliate link in there. So what I'm gonna do is actually highlight the rest of this text, cut it, copy it, and cut it out. I'm gonna insert a text block below here, paste that back in, and then in between I'm gonna put a button. So for the button where it says click here, I just highlighted that and I'm going to type in new words. So I'm just going to put sign up for the summit. Then I'm going to, over here in this part, you just go ahead and add your link. So I'm going to go back to this document, grab the affiliate link. These are just different affiliate links. I'm just grabbing the one for the registration page because that's what makes sense for this newsletter. This is all set. For some reason, they always make their buttons white with a black line, which looks ugly. So we're just gonna make sure that there's no line, and then we're gonna change the background to something that's her brand color. In ActiveCampaign, typically you'll see brand colors in this like recent area, but if not, you can always just copy paste one of the hex codes right into here. So I'm just gonna select this gold color. Typically warm, you want to use like a warm or like a red or an orange color for buttons because it converts better, but really as long as it's a color, I don't care. I'm just gonna make this bold, make the font a little bigger so the button gets bigger, and I think it needs just like a little bit. No, how do I get the padding? Oh, here we go. There, a little more padding. All right, so that looks cute. And all right, let's just keep going and formatting. So again, this needs bullet points for sure. seconds. All right. So again, it wants you to add your affiliate link. For this one, I'm just going to, since we just used the button, I'm just going to highlight the words, invite you to grab a free seat now, and link that to the affiliate link. And I'm just going to bold that so it stands out a little bit more. Typically, you'll see that like the links button up here is a specific color. That just means any link in the newsletter is going to just automatically default to that color. So you can change it by clicking that this color box here to whatever color you want it to be. And I'm just adding in more links here, pretty self-explanatory. All right, so I'm just gonna add one more button at the end here. So basically, this is still content from the previous newsletter, so I'm gonna delete this. Delete this. And then this is her thing that she puts at the end of all the newsletters, so we're gonna leave that. I'm gonna go over here to this button, click on the settings thing, duplicate this content block, and that's weird, it didn't make it bold text. All right, we're just gonna put that at the bottom here. And then, so sometimes this happens where like, okay, first of all, I need to make this bold because it's bothering me. Where like two content blocks are way too close together, it looks kind of awkward. So you just click in this box here, and then we're gonna want to add padding. But instead of clicking all sides, you want to click custom and then click on this section that says bottom. And then so we're just gonna add like a bunch of padding at the bottom of the button to separate it from the content block that's below it. So I'm just gonna make sure the link kept. Yep. Okay, so we are all set. This newsletter looks awesome. It's ready to get sent out. Actually, I still feel like this is too close. I'm gonna put one more line there. And this is all set to send. So basically you just hit this next button at the top here. And then so it's just gonna give you a summary. It's gonna show you the subject line, what email it's coming from, who it's going to, the address that's gonna be at the bottom. You can send a test email here. Typically, I like to send test emails to the client unless it's like a last minute thing. And then here you can fix the delivery. So if you don't do anything, it will just send immediately. So you're gonna probably want to hit the schedule button, and we're gonna schedule this out. Let's see, it wants it to go out on October 16th. So we're just gonna go ahead and schedule it for October 16th. Then I'm gonna schedule it for like 9 a.m. Actually, no, I'll do a little bit later. All right, and then it is all set to go. You can just hit finish, and you've created a newsletter.